Hey there, Matt Easton, Schola Gladiatoria here. So a couple of weeks ago now, I haven't been able to do this because, as you know, I was away for a week and then I've been busy with work and the usual kind of stuff. But a couple of weeks ago, a parcel turned up, a mystery parcel turned up at the training venue where I run my London classes, where you can find the address on the website. Now, I did manage to get the parcel, however, it was somewhat tricky because that's not a residential address, it's a hall that we train in. So various people took the parcel and it got passed around, and I was away on holiday, and eventually I got the parcel. And it was all very mysterious, and people said to me, I think it's a sword. And I thought, well, if I'd ordered a sword, I do order quite a lot of swords, but I wouldn't have got it shipped to my class address, to the hall address. So I thought, well, it must be someone who doesn't know my address. So someone's just sending me something. Well, that's nice, you know. And then I thought, maybe it's not a sword, maybe it's something worrying, maybe it's a body part, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a whale, I don't know, I had no idea what it might be. Anyway, eventually I got the package, and here's the massive package, and you can see it is kind of sword sized, and it felt kind of sword weight as well. And anyway, so I opened it up somewhat carefully. I checked that it didn't smell of anything strange, I checked that it wasn't ticking, I sort of shook it around a bit and it didn't give me any clues, so I thought, well, I'm quite old, so, you know, had a good life, I'll open it up. So I opened it up and I saw inside lots of packaging, something had been well wrapped inside, and I found several objects in there. First of all, there's a nice kind of, I think it smells nice. I think it's for hanging in your car as a frog, purple frog. I might hang this in my car actually. Just bought a new car, which is exciting to me. And also some things about the person that had sent some cards, but I'll refer to those in a minute. An object, which I'll show in a second, and then a letter. And so I have the letter here, and I will read it to you. I'm sure it'll be hugely fascinating. Oh, very nice. And there's a picture. Just before I read that, there's a picture of a Chassepot bayonet and the guard of a sabre. It looks like some kind of gymnasium sabre. Anyway, let's read it. So it's addressed to the church hall where we train in Ealing in West London. If you happen to live in London, by all means, you're welcome to come and train with us any Tuesday night from 7 o'clock. Equipment provided. Beginners always welcome. And it says, Matt, this is, first of all, I've got to say, I was, even before I'd opened this, I was quite excited and hugely flattered that someone I didn't know, or rather someone who didn't know my address, had sent me something. This is the dream of every YouTuber, surely. And I don't think, I have been sent a few things actually by viewers, but not many. I'm no scalagram. People seem to love sending scalagram stuff. But anyway, this person is called Eric Dean. So shout out to you, Eric. This video is all about you, basically, and me saying thank you for sending me a package, which made me very happy, and was kept for 2 weeks by one of my students underneath their stairs while I was on holiday. But it says, Matt, please forgive me for shipping this directly to your fencing class, but it seemed the most practical solution. I'm a fledgling, aspiring YouTuber myself at /thepostapoc. And I'll put the link below. And I'm a huge fan of your work. I was raised training informally with various lengths of stick, from shillelagh to quarterstaff, due to my father's obsession with our Irish heritage. And why not? A recent obsession with spears and pikes brought me to your channel, and since I've become quite enamoured with HEMA, fencing, sabres, and weapon history in general. Excellent! That's what the channel was started for, and that's what I'm aiming for. So that's brilliant news. Great to hear. I recently made a video as a playful and light-hearted tribute to you, which is available on my channel. Again, I'll put the link to the channel below, which is called The Post-Apoc. I imagine that's post-apocalyptic, in which I turned one of my fighting sticks into a kind of wooden sabre/cutlass, using a colander as a cup or bowl for a basket hilt. It says I'm still foggy on the exact terminology. Actually, cup, bowl, basket hilt. I would call it a half basket hilt, actually, but you could just call it a guard. I think that's the term that gets used the most. Just call it a handguard. Either way, it was fun to make and ended up at a comfortable £2. Brilliant. £2 is the weight of most of these kind of swords, whether it's tulwars or military sabres. A lot of them weigh about £2, often slightly under £2, but cavalry sabres can be a bit over £2. I've sent it to you so you can have some fun playing with it. We did have some fun playing with it actually in class. We found it's actually quite a good exercise to implement. I'll show it in a second. And perhaps give my channel a shout out if you choose to feature it in any future videos. Well, indeed, here is a future video. So this is even more than a shout out. It's a whole video. And he's still working on his first 1,000 subs. And a bump would do wonders, I'm sure. So go and have a look at the channel. If you like what you see there, subscribe. Conversely, you could give it to a neighbourhood child as their first sword. I have to say, this object is quite mace-like. I will review it. I'll do a review of the weapon in a minute, but I'm not sure, even my daughter, who's quite used to being around swords, I'm not sure I'd trust her. Certainly with none of her friends around, I wouldn't trust her with this. It's a bit like a mace, but anyway, I'll show you in a second. I would be totally satisfied with this outcome. In the near future, I'll be doing a video in which I attempt to make a hybrid cutlass from a French chassepot bayonet and a steel cutlass hilt. Ah, that's what the picture's for there. So, presumably Eric's going to take that blade, the chassepot Yataghan style blade, and mount it on the hilt. Be interested to see how that turns out. I've never actually seen someone dismount a blade from a chassepot bayonet, but they're peened at the end, so you probably can. I think there's probably a lateral rivet as well. Your advice on the matter would be greatly appreciated. Well, as I say, I haven't seen it. So the first thing to do is to grind where the rivet essentially has been peened at the end. You need to grind around there so the overlap is removed so that you're left with just the stalk if possible. Some people just grind the whole thing off, but try and leave as much length of tang as possible because then you've got more tang to play with when you come to remount it. Yes, I have done this kind of thing myself. But as I say, I can't remember with a chassepot, but with a chassepot bayonet, there might be a lateral rivet or pin through the side. If there's one of those, you need to grind either one end or both ends off and knock that through before you do the other. Grind around, and then you just need to bing, bing, bing with a hammer, and the blade should pop out fairly easily. I've included some pictures. That's my cat. I've included some pictures. Shut up, cat! I've included some pictures for reference, which I just showed. I've never attempted anything like this, but I'm willing to take a stab in the dark. And why not? A chassepot bayonet, they're very, very common. There's millions of them around. I don't know if there's millions, but anyway, many thousands of them around. In a way, it's a shame to ruin a bit of history. Someone might go, no, you can't ruin it. But, you know, there we go. It's your choice. Other good names for the weapon I've sent you include a basket-hilted baton, a colander lele, and a pasta-handed fighting bat. I like the pasta-handed fighting bat, actually. I think Metatron would like that one as well because he's freaking obsessed with pasta. Once again, thank you for the work you do. It keeps me sane through my 9 till 5 office job. And you know what? It keeps me sane through my 9 till 5 office job as well. So, here is the weapon. It is a colander of doom. Now, would that colander offer good hand protection? Yeah, not bad. So it's very wide. So as you'll notice, like actual hilts on swords are kind of, as you can see, a lot smaller than that. So it's kind of much bigger than it needs to be. But nevertheless, it would provide hand protection. And the baton, should we say, or the mace, is actually quite a lethal piece of equipment. So it seems to be, it's wood, I think. I think it's a wooden stick, but what it has is a mass, essentially some type of, it looks like from a railing or something like that, and a steel, cast steel, I would imagine. It might be aluminium, but oh, it's made in China, I can tell you that much. Made in China, number 62. So if you're looking for one on eBay, a metal end there which is screwed into the shaft, and I know you love it when I say words like that, and another end on here which is screwed into the shaft at this end as well, and then the colander itself, very nicely, it's all secured. There's a screw there and a screw there and a screw there, so it's actually got 3 bits of metal on it, hasn't it? It's got a pommel end to you know, end people rightly, and it's got a hitting end, and actually that's very important because you've got a light shaft. Won't do that hand movement thing. When you've got a light shaft, having some weight at the end gives it inertia, and the inertia makes it feel more like the shaft was made of metal and heavier. So actually that's quite a practical way of making a training weapon feel. I wouldn't hit anyone with it because what you've just done is you've just reinvented the mace. That's why I wouldn't give it to my daughter to play with her friends. She's got a foam sword. Yeah, actually, this would be freaking lethal. I wouldn't say that I'm not proposing anything here, but I would say a person, a nasty person, could kill another person really quickly with one of these. So it's essentially a mace with a basket hilt. A basket hilted mace. It's awesome. It's like an Indo-Persian. So yeah, and does it feel like a sword? It's a bit too heavy at the tip, I'd say. Certainly for these types of swords. It feels in the hand a little bit more like something like a falchion or something like that. The point of balance is not that far up, but that's because we've got an equal knob on this end as on this end. But because the weight is at either end rather than distributed evenly through the weapon, it does mean that to get the thing moving and to stop it takes more force. So it handles more like a falchion or a mace, something like that. And it's got a nicely wrapped, I don't think it's silk, I think it's some type of polyester, but a nicely wrapped handle. Now, when I pulled this out of my club, there was much mirth, and we started talking about the fact that this is actually a brilliant home defense / zombie apocalypse, which links in probably to Eric's channel, zombie apocalypse weapon. Actually, if you're in a zombie apocalypse scenario and you're not a sword collector, you don't own any guns, maybe you live in the UK and the government doesn't trust you to have anything that might be sharp or pointy, then this cobbled together, essentially basket hilted mace club shillelagh would be really good against zombies. This is going to make mincemeat of rotting skulls. It's going to splatter brains all over walls. It's going to pop eyeballs. You can thrust with it, you can pommel with it, and it's got a good basket hilt. So when the zombies are going at you like this, they can't bite your hand, which is brilliant. So you can smash the zombies about, pommeling them, hitting them. And if one gets too close, you can smash them with the basket hilt, and they're going gnawing on the shaft, but they can't get at your hand. And even if you're in a press, it's a colander. You can see through it. I can actually see through the basket hilt. That's awesome. If someone's like throwing things at you, you can actually use it like a buckler and you could advance upon them like this and see through the colander. What an awesome weapon. And actually, in all seriousness, as a training aid, it's pretty damn good. Like if you don't have a sword, if you can get a stick and add a little bit of weight at each end and in the middle, you've got something now which handles a bit more like a sword. And you can, by moving the weights around, you can shift how it handles and where the point of balance is and all that kind of stuff. So there we go, Eric. One last thing. So these, I said I'd show you these before I finished up. So he's got here Eric Dean Writer, and it's at Eric Writes, and obviously Writes is with a W because it's the word as in writing. So ericwrites.com. I'll put again the link below. Eric Dean Writer. Maybe sanity, stability, and the comfort of familiarity are all just a thin veneer beneath which we're all shivering and clinging to one another in terror at the unimaginable chaos of the universe. That's probably true. Maybe everything falls apart and you can never go home again. I like it. And the picture is, it's like a brain with a tap. So there we go. Eric, thank you very much. I really appreciate the really creative gift you sent me, and I'll be honest, it's not going to live in my house. It'll probably live in my shed, but it's a great memento and I really appreciate it. And hopefully my little video here will send a few people over to your channel. Go and check out Eric's stuff below. Cheers, folks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and feel free to follow us on Facebook.